Hello everyone, welcome to DiscipleQuest. I'm the very best shoutcaster ever. This is day number 3, and today I'm going to focus on my map awareness and just making sure I can monitor and check all of the fights, kills, summoner spells, all that stuff that gets blown. And so I am going to be casting my friend Thorrbo's game. He is a Platinum 1 player, I believe, so not quite the Challenger 5's I've been casting. Most of them were not playing tonight, and so I'm instead going to cast him. He's a streamer, he's really cool, you guys should go check him out, but today he decided to get with his rank 5's team so that I could cast them and work on my map awareness. So without any further ado, we are going to get into the game here. And we are about a minute and 13 seconds in here. When we look at our teams, we can see Thorrbo's team on the blue side. It's going to be Thorrbo playing Jinx in the bottom lane with a support Blitzcrank by Sultan of Funk. Armin will be jungling his Elise. Ooh, and tensions are high. Oh, Trollful with this with the stealthy plays. The stealthy plays, Trollful. Oh wow, that was quite wonderful. Great plays by Vayne. Alright, so this early invade here from Thorrbo's team is going to be spotted out by a well-placed ward there in the blue buff. Nyarshmello might look to go in and stop this. Let's see what happens. Oh, the flash in from Ketong. Does he get it? He does, but he gets taken out in the meantime. First blood going to Sultan the Funk along with the blue buff. And so I don't think that steal was very worth it at all, as the first blood and the blue go over here to Thorrbo's team. A great first play by them. Now we're going to see Hurricane on Shyvana running all the way up here to the top lane. We'll be up against Terran on Vladimir there. On our purple team, there is a Jungle Nunu who we just saw die for first blood in a very unfortunate play. They will have a Kassadin in the mid lane, and in the bottom it will be Trollful on Vayne and Chicken Wang on Sona. Quintessence just looking to come out with some early aggression there, almost getting the Resonating Strike, but not wanting to take a turret shot. He definitely wants to play this aggressively early on, so that Kassadin really doesn't have a chance to farm and get up to his important items. I'm just going to go ahead and make this loud enough so you guys can hear it, because Riot likes to change it around every single game, just to keep us on our toes. Hurricane going in aggressively onto Terran has to be careful, since Terran, as long as... Oh, the grab lands onto Trollful there. They pull him in. Actually, a lot of damage. Zap connects. He has to flash away and below his barrier. The exhaust was used. Ultimately, a really good play. Almost taking out the Vayne there and forcing him back to base. Thorrbo tries to come with the zap snipe, but he was already back. There is the pool from Terran. He's in a rough spot here. The Ignite goes down onto him, and Ahriman is there for the execute damage. Does take him down for a very excellently executed gank, really coming in with even through the vision of Terran's ward there in the river. He is able to lock up the kill on him. And I'm going to go ahead and reorder everyone on the scoreboard so you can go ahead and compare them all in their respective lanes. Ooh. Nunu has to be careful when he goes into lanes like that. He already fed the first blood, and he is behind most certainly in this jungle not having the blue buff. When he goes into a lane like that, he can't take too much damage, or else it'll force him back. With Quintessence going in aggressively onto Nyarshmello. He's going to flash in for the Ignite, and the auto attack misses a Sonic Wave, and that won't be the kill onto Nyarshmello. But he's going to stick around and stay in. Quintessence might be able to jump back in there and get something. He also has Ahriman flashing in for the repel and the execute damage, but Quintessence comes in for unnecessary damage, really. That kill didn't need to happen. Both wards going into that bush for the double vision there from Trollful and Chicken Wang. But a big misplay from Quintessence there. Sultan the Funk going to go in aggressively here. Gets the knock up on the Chicken Wang. Is he going to go for the grab, though? He's not going to throw it out quite yet. Trollful now turns on to Thorrbo. Gets the Silver Bolt proc once, but can't quite get it again. And I will continue reordering everyone here. And there it is. So right now, the early advantage definitely coming over here to Thorrbo's blue team, with Terran just kind of being forced to farm from a distance here. He actually is still ahead in CS compared to Hurricane, And he will start hitting his strongest point in just a couple levels here, but the Negatron Cloak already picked up by Hurricane in that top lane is going to keep him rather safe from the magic damage from Terran. He goes in aggressively with the burnout, but he's taking a lot of damage in return from those minions. He has to be careful here. Terran going to turn a lot back on him. Wow. Hurricane definitely could have played that a little bit better, as he now has to be careful in this lane. Terran almost taking him out there with once another transfusion. Oh, that grab misses, and Sultan of Funk continuing to just try and exert his pressure here on the enemy bot laners. It is enabling Thorrbo to get quite a bit of farm there. He is 8 CS over his opponent on Vayne, and that's what you need to do early on in lane against Vayne. You can't let her get those items quickly at all. That's the same way you play against Narshmallow here in the mid lane. Quintessence going in aggressively yet again. Narshmallow is trying to trade him back with auto attacks, but I don't think it's going to work. There's the grab onto Chicken Wing. I'm Thorrbo coming through. Can he land the zap? He doesn't quite go for it. He lands it onto Trollfill, but there is no follow-up. He wants to get that Silver Bolt proc onto Thorrbo. The level up, though, going to give him a little bit of health back. Now Ahriman moving in here on the top lane, but Terran plays it really smartly, has the ward there in the bush to stay safe from the ganks, and he is going to be safe for now. Narcello in this mid lane actually having a pretty good time against Quintessence after healing up from that previous engagement, but Quintessence could be backed up here by Ahriman, who comes in with the repel. Can he get a cocoon? No, he misses it. There's it almost completely the wrong direction, unfortunately, but Narcello will be safe for now. Is this a dragon attempt? It is, with Katong taking this up quite heavily, but he does not have the health for it. Ahriman is there to stop it, and that's going to be a lot of time and health wasted here from our red team jungler. Quintessence coming in onto Katong, and he gets him there with the Dragon's Rage. And unfortunately, this is not Nunu's game, as he is 0-2 this point, giving up 2 kills to the enemy team. Quintessence cannot quite find the cocoon on the Trollful there, but he is just Ahriman can. There he is. There is that cocoon stun finally. I'm not sure they're gonna have the follow-up, but still a lot of damage going down on the Spain. Going to be very important in just keeping him scared in this lane. And everyone is here just giving him a hard time. With all this pressure, he's not going to be able to farm up nearly as easily as he would like. However, Terran is going in aggressively up in the top lane, flashing in on the Hurricane, but Hurricane flashes the Tides of Blood and does remain safe there. A good play. Unfortunately, he is going to be forced back. He is going to give up some turret damage here and give Terran some more free farm, who is now about 10 CS ahead. Narcello waiting here in the bush. Ahriman finishing him off, but there is this steal, and Narcello goes in onto Ahriman, who repels up in the air, stays alive for a second longer, but does fall down to Narcello, who also took the red buff. A really good roam there. Unfortunately, Ahriman didn't pull the red buff into the bush, and so wasn't aware of anyone waiting there. And those kind of plays from Kassadin are what make him such a strong champion. He's farming incredibly well in this mid lane too. He has 55 CS, 56 now, which is the most in the game, tied with our hero Thorrbo. And in a Kassadin versus Lee Sin matchup, that's not something you'd expect. Someone who is so powerful at early exchanges and early aggression against a Kassadin is actually losing out, even though he has picked up 2 kills. There's Narcello picking up the blue buff, which is going to be incredibly powerful on him if he chooses to move to either the top or bottom lanes. That roam from Kassadin with the blue buff is one of the scariest things that can happen to you in the early to mid game. Quintessence is continuing to look to exhibit pressure onto Narcello, but he can't just find the damage. They are going to trade back and forth. The ignites go down. Narcello falling low, but so is Quintessence. He has to safeguard the last bit of damage. Narcello might look to follow it up. And this is actually going to be Quintessence backing off it with Narcello still farming in the mid lane. Now Hurricane going on to Terran. Does he have his pool? He does not. And now, oh no, there it is. I didn't expect him to use it that late. A good play, but the repel and the Venomous Bite is going to claim his life. Ahriman taking that out in yet another successful gank. 2-1-2 Elise. Definitely proving a huge asset here for our blue team. And remember that today's challenge was to focus on map awareness, and at this point I have not yet missed a kill, so definitely a lot better than previous games. I did miss the turret that went down in the bottom lane, but that was definitely going to fall with all the pressure that was going on to Trollful while he was there trying to farm. He only has 45 minions here to Thorrbo's 70. That's a 25 minion disadvantage, and that's going to be so painful here as Thorrbo. Can he buy a Bloodthirster at this point? Oh, he can. He has the gold to wait for it. No, he's instead going to go for an Infinity Edge for his first sight, and so he picks up the Bloodthirster, or the BF Sword, and the Pickaxe. Sultan of Funk might be looking to now help out Quintessence in that mid lane. If he can land a good grab onto Kassadin, it might be enough to put out the damage they need, even through Kassadin's Rift Walk. But instead, he's just going to recall there in the bush, and most likely go ahead and regroup with I'm Thorrbo there, who is now so far ahead of his opponent, Trollful. Trollful at this point has only picked up a Vampiric Scepter and the Berserker's Greaves, and so against the attack damage of Jinx at this point, that's going to be devastating. Looking at our supports, we have the Boots of Mobility there on Sultan of Funk, so not only can he position himself for great grabs, but he can run around the map, doing so, going to help other lanes, and being there at every important contest. I really like that pickup of the Boots of Mobility, and let's see how he chooses to use them. Hurricane doing a lot of damage to Terran in the top lane, as our blue team does take out the dragon down there in the river. That is part of the map awareness I believe I do need to work on, but at this point, blue team is so far ahead, they're quite easily taking out these turrets and dragons now. They have about 2,000 gold up, but it's not just the gold, it's the pressure they've been exerting, which has really been their key here. All the skill shots missing there in the mid lane. Just, you know, it's not about hitting the skill shots, it's about sending a message, and Arsenal can just afford to walk up there because he knows they're all on cooldown. The grab should be back up, so they have to be careful to see if Sultan of Funk might pull them back in. They've left Trollful and Chicken Wing in the bottom lane to farm up, get some experience, which I think is a smart play as long as they can keep this mid lane alive. Since Thorrbo isn't getting much at all, but there is Narsenal getting pulled in, has to Rift Walk out. Quintessence goes in with the Dragon's Rage, but has to push him away. Can he get the last Sonic Wave? Narsenal is going to be out of range. Kitung wants to defend this, but this could be the turret going down. No kills yet. I'm Thorrbo. Falls incredibly low there. Vayne finally comes in. Clean up crew Vayne to, you know, farm out those minions in the mid after all the action happens. Oh, the grab lands onto Katong, and he gets set up by the Cocoon immediately, but flashes away. Ahriman flashes over the Crescendo. Trollful tries to fall on here, but it is flashed out. Ahriman falls up there with the Venomous Bite and can keep on running away from Chicken Wing and Trollful here. That's 6 kills here for our blue team against the 2 kills of red team. And they are still about 2,000 gold ahead, but the map pressure they've been showing has really been intense. That's a Spirit of the Ancient Golem picked up there from Nunu for that cooldown reduction and the health and tenacity from the jungler. A really good pickup from him, kind of the only option there on Nunu. And same goes for Elise. Elise can pick up the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, but Ancient Golem is also a really good pickup. Some cheap stats in terms of the health and cooldown reduction. Definitely make it good on anyone who's looking to engage, who's looking to dive into fights, which as an Elise you're definitely looking to do. As a 3-1-2 Elise especially, that will be so much disruption coming in here. One key note here is that in the late game, Lee Sin and Elise might not necessarily do as much damage as others. Elise always has the % health damage, which is great, but can't always afford to build penetration and a lot of damage. So they should look to pressure this early advantage they have, because later on Lee Sin will really just be a method to get in, displace an enemy carry or support, and then just do his best. Oh, Trollful fighting down here in the bottom lane. Trades on the Sultan of Funk, has to pop his barrier, can't quite get the last hit on Sultan of Funk. Now I'm Thorrbo is chasing onto him, gets it with the auto attack, now has his Get Excited passive to chase onto Chicken Wing, and he's going to use his minigun to peg down him. Chicken Wing should be dying here, he doesn't have the flash to get away. Kitong now here in a 1v2, pulls his ultimate, is he going to be able to get both of them? No, Sultan of Funk pulls him farther away from Thorrbo though, so he does fall. That was definitely a mistaken grab there. Narsenal is coming in here onto Thorrbo. Thorrbo tries to get the kill on the Kitong, but he can't quite get it in time, and thank you, Directed Camera, for showing me a lovely tour of the base as Narsenal gets the kill there on his killing spree at 3-1-0 Kassadin. The 102 farm, most in the game. Type its top laner. Quintessence comes here in the bottom, but I don't think that's where he wanted to be at all. As Katung and Narsenal take out yet another kill. They are on a bit of a rampage themselves. And blue team has to be careful. This could be the comeback. There's now only still about 2,000 gold separating the two teams. I don't think any amount of kills is really going to change that. Terran has to be careful from the Venomous Bite, though. Trollful pops his ultimate and tries to trade back, and Ahriman actually could go down here, gets stunned up, but dies to the minions after he decides to go for them. Now Trollful and Hurricane are duking it out. Hurricane wants to chase onto Terran, but just can't quite find it. Now has to back away from Trollful. A lot of misplays here from blue team are throwing their advantage a bit. That's kind of the only way you can put it. They're still 2,000 gold up, but they just gave up 3 kills in exchange for 1. I suppose it was 2 kills. They got Chicken Wing and Trollful, but still just not what they need to do. The turret did fall in the middle lane, that outer turret, so picking that up will bring them even farther ahead in gold, so now to 3,000, so they're not completely out of their advantage yet. Oh, the Super Mega Death Rocket does not connect with Trollful, and he's going to remain safe today. Unfortunately, I don't quite have the LCS camera skills with the Caitlyn Ace in the hole and everything. Salt in the Funk coming in with the grab, misses Chicken Wing there, and Katong comes in to show his presence as well. Thorrbo playing this aggressively, but in that minigun, can't quite get up close enough to auto-attack without being a little bit out of position. Let's see what our next plays are. If we take a look at some of these builds, we can see that Vayne is going for a Bladed Ruin King, whereas Thorrbo is continuing on towards his Infinity Edge, which he just picked up. Now, at 16 minutes into the game, a pretty good time to pick it up. He has about 100 to farm, so he is down in farm, but with 2 kills under his belt, he can still afford to get that item. And he's now going to be eons ahead of Vayne here, who only has the Bilgewater Cutlass and a couple of daggers. And the top lane, Vladimir has gone for a rather aggressive build, picking up the Hextech Revolver as well as a Haunting Guise. Is the name of that item, which I'm allowed to have a refresher every once in a while. The Haunting Guise and the Hextech Revolver to just go for some penetration, some sustain, and some ability power, as opposed to going for something defensive early on, like the Narshella almost gets cut out there. Saying that Vladimir will likely pick up a Spirit Visage, but it's just a matter of whether he gets it earlier or later on. Against Shyvana, if you're behind, it could be smart to get it earlier, along with the Seeker's Arm Guard, just to fend off some of that physical and magical damage. Salt in the Funk now speeding up in here. Can he get the grab? He does on the Chicken Wing, but is the Crescendo going to come out? No, he can't get it in time. And the silence from Salt in the Funk really well placed there to keep that off of them. Meanwhile, Ahriman did take out the dragon there in the river and is now moving down onto Trollful, throws the cocoon onto the minion. But Trollful is looking towards this turret with Bloodlust. Actually goes in aggressively on the Ahriman for the Silver Bolt to proc. In the middle lane, we have quite a fight brewing. Iron Thorrbo falls low, but is able to position himself out here. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes across on Narshella. There's the grab, and the Ignite, and the Dragon's Rage, and the flash over on the Kutong. A lot expended for a whole lot of kills as they proceed on in this mid lane towards the tower. Chicken Wing is finally there, but I'm not sure he can defend against this. He does have his Crescendo, but he still is a lowly support. Trollful in this bottom lane, trying to peg down this turret still, but he doesn't have much auto attack range at all. The cocoons are missing though, and that's not what Ahriman needs to defend this turret. Quintessence is going to be able to take out this mid-inner turret here. Chicken Wing just can't do enough to defend it. Doesn't want to expend that Crescendo for on just a single member for a turret that was likely to fall. Anyway, Hurricane goes in possibly too aggressively. Terran doesn't have his ultimate to punish him for that, but he's still having quite a rough time in the top lane against this Vladimir. The score now is 11-6 here in favor of Thorrbo's team. They are about 5,500 gold in the advantage. And they haven't really shown it, except in their pushing. They've pushed rather well, but in some of these fights, they've just given up a bit too much. They just haven't positioned or gone for the right enemies quite with the accuracy that they need to retain this advantage. However, just through sheer muscle and willpower, they've continued to eke out a gold lead. That's a descriptor I feel like we need, because there just have been enough mistakes that I can't say that they are grabbing this advantage and really running with it, really pushing it. They're just kind of muscling it down. Hurricane now goes aggressively onto Terran there, who is ignited. Hurricane and Salt in the Funk is able to land the grab. This should be the kill there. Can he juke him out there? He cannot. I wasn't expecting it, but hey, always leave the possibility open for a YouTube highlight clip. Narshella should be able to get away from this one with his Rift Walk. Finally, Trollful taking down that turret in the bottom lane. Narshella here is in the middle of 5 enemies. He might not be able to get out of that one even with the Rift Walks. He held on to the Riftwalks a little bit too long, so that by the time he needed to escape, he only was able to use the one instead of using them consistently to jump over the walls. Now Katong is going to be caught there by the Cocoon from Elise, and there's the grab once again. This will be another kill. Sultan the Funk has been on spot with these. Nunu just tries to mask himself in the trees there. I think maybe he was trying to bait out some flashes over the wall, but unfortunately, that was not the case. Trollful is just remaining down here in the bottom lane, pegging away at this as they lose their inner turret in the top lane and begin to lose their inhibitor turret here. Chicken Wing used his crescendo to stop it, but it's not enough as they now proceed onto it. Thorrbo tries to get it. He does. He now gets excited, but he will fall here to the Ignite from Nyarchnelo. He flashes away, but that last tick of Ignite takes him out. Quintessence and Nyarchnelo now dueling, but I don't believe that Quintessence has this. Nyarchnelo there with the double kill. Terran did fall in the top lane to Hurricane and Ariman. Hurricane's now going to be taking up this turret and he has to be careful. No, even though he's doing damage to Katung, he is not tanking the turret up. Nyarchnelo jumps over onto Elise, takes him out on his killing spree, taking 3 kills out in very quick succession. Katung tries to get some help back from a minion, but I don't think it'll be enough. The speed buff might, though. Hurricane tries to chase onto here, and Nyarchnelo can't follow over that flame trail. Hurricane cannot chase up enough, so a really good play from Katung. I thought he was surely dead. Oh, the super mega death rocket. Can it go? Is it good? Nope. It goes right into Chicken Wing, who takes a bit of damage, but says thank you very much for for not killing my teammate there. Hurricane backing off here to go and buy some pretty high gold values on these blue team. Is going to mean they can pick up their Blade of the Ruined King and Spirit Visage on Shyvana, a Haunting Guise, as well as his defensive items there on the Elise. Lee Sin has opted for Ravenous Hydra and a Hex Drinker to go for a rather aggressive build. The Hex Drinker is definitely going to be powerful in stopping some of that damage from Nyarchnelo. Jinx has gone for a Zeal and Infinity Edge, going for the crit that combines so well with the attack speed from the minigun. More attacks mean more crits, means a lot more damage onto the enemy team. And finally there is Blitzcrank actually picking up a Sheen here, going for the aggressive Blitzcrank support build, which is definitely not answered there by the Sona, who only has the Iona Boots of Lucidity and a Sight Stone, as well as the Talisman of Ascension. Thane is going indeed with the typical attack speed build with a Blade of the Ruined King and what is meant to be a static Shiv. Kassadin with his Rod of Ages and most of Rabadon's Death Cap is going to be a really powerful player in this game. He already has 6 kills, the most of anyone besides his lane opponent Quintessence, but here is the fight. Sultan Funk lands a knock up there onto Katung, and Ariman tries to get some damage onto Terran, but there's just not the engage there, and they don't have their true carries here. Thorrbo is not quite close enough for the auto attacks. He is down, dueling it out with Trollful, but he is just going to distract them while the rest of his team runs an enemy base and works to take down this inhibitor. There's no answer here from the red team. This is going to be a free inhibitor there. Nyarchnelo gets some damage on the Sultan the Funk. Now this could be the fight after the inhibitor's down, but it should be worth it. The good crescendo comes across 2 of them, but they're still going to lose Terran there to the Ignite. Katung now finally takes out Sultan of Funk. That kill goes over to Nyarchnelo, and Katung does flash over the wall. Hurricane tries to chase onto it, but he is slowed down by the Ice Ball from Nunu. Nyarchnelo, can he jump away from this one? Trollful is finally there to join the fight, has his ultimate popped, is able to stun Quintessence up against the wall, take him out with the Silver Bolt proc, and will he survive? He pops the barrier to survive the last tick of Ignite. Ariman escapes off the end here. He did manage to take out Chicken Wang there, off of camera. He now is looking towards Nyarchnelo. I'm not sure he can find him with the Rift Walk that Kassadin always has in his pocket. He's going to use it to get right over the Baron Wall and come out to safety. That was a 4v5 overall, since I'm Thorrbo could not participate in any part of that fight. He could be Void Walker hunting, but is that what Kassadin is? He's the Void something, alright. But he's not able to find himself a juicy enemy AP carry. At this point, he has to be supremely careful that he doesn't find him, since Kassadin's burst potential is getting remarkably high with all this AP he's buying up. Ariman and I'm Thorrbo taking down this dragon, going to continue to cement their gold lead. They are only about 6,500 up. and so not too much more than they were just a few minutes ago, but they still are continuing to just muscle up that gold lead. They still aren't making the huge decisive plays. The inhibitor almost felt like a fluke. It just felt like no one really reacted, so they're like, okay, we might as well take it. And it was definitely a solid play, but just the teamwork and precision that we want to see out of this, we have yet to. Hurricane putting out a lot of pressure onto Chicken Wing, forcing him to play cautiously, but still not taking too much damage there. Ooh, Elise has picked up an Abyssal Scepter, which I really like. Not only does it give him more survivability, but it helps his team out. It definitely increases the magic damage from Shyvana himself, and even from Blitzcrank there. Ooh, Hurricane, could you be caught out here? He's slowed up by the Ice Ball, but it's not going to be enough to keep him there. Oh, the flash out of the grab from Blitzcrank is going to mean that Vayne is actually incredibly vulnerable at this point. Vayne doesn't have any defensive items, doesn't have a flash, only has the stealth from the ultimate, really, to be able to get away from anything. But Katoon might be looking to engage this. There's the grab on the Chicken Wing, though, pulling him closer. He could go for the crescendo here. He's not going to get it before he dies, though, and there is a huge fight. Katoon falls as well. Narcello trying to back out on the side there, but he's shut down by Thorrbo. Not a single member of our blue team has died, and there's the game, most likely. There are 30-second respawn timers here. Thorrbo is messaging me, so it should be over soon enough. As Thorrbo and team move in here, they are going to face tank up these Nexus turrets. Let's see if they have attack speed to get it. They do have a Jinx with them, so it should be enough to end the game here. Very well played to our blue team, to our hero Thorrbo. And thank you all for watching. Oh, expect A. That wasn't expect A. Finally, the crescendo comes out. Long time after the actual important fight happened. So, that was a lot of fun. I had a good time casting that. It was nice to have the warm-up game, of course. And so I feel like I did a much better job paying attention to the map. Of course, I wasn't perfect, but that's what this is. Just slight steps to correct some of the things that I do wrong until I eventually become the very best shoutcaster ever. And so, if you have any comments or criticisms of today's cast, make sure that you leave them in the comments below, because I'm talking to you as if you're on YouTube and not Twitch right now. And I'll definitely look at all of those, definitely think about them, and work to improve on all of them, but choose one that I'm going to focus on every single day. Some of them I will repeat, of course, if I still need to work on them until I eventually can become a professional shoutcaster that you guys all love watching, and that I can just do that for my living. That's my goal. I love it. I just absolutely enjoy this to the core. It's the only job I've ever had that I don't hate doing. And so thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of my journey, and y'all have fun.